This is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make flaming attack cubes. And you're probably thinking, what in the world is a flaming attack cube? Well, instead of explaining it, I'm going to show you how to make it and how to use it. First thing we need to do is get a large crusher, and we're going to put this right next to my pickup truck, and then we're going to replace my pickup truck. I want something that's fast, but also decently heavy, so we're going to go with an ETK 856 TT Sport Plus. Doesn't matter if it's automatic or manual. I just want one of these, and then we'll put it in the crusher and crush it. And I think the crusher works best when you put vehicles at an angle. So we're going to park it just like that for the best crush. I'll let you guys watch the crush as it happens. Even though the crush isn't actually important at all that matters is that we get the ball into a nice condensed cube. Doesn't matter how it gets there, that's just the easiest way to do it. So now we save the vehicle, and then we can go ahead and respawn it. And we need to get a target, so I'm going to move it a little bit away from the crusher. We want a nice big target, so we're going to grab the hero version of the Wentworth DT40L so it can get some distance between us nice and fast. Hard part is actually fitting through here. Let's see if it works. Oh, that was a clean fit. That was good. All right. So that should be a good amount of distance between me and the car, so we'll save the bus right here, go back to the car. And with this much distance, we should be able to reach about 100 miles per hour, I would think, which should give a good speed for the flaming attack cube. So we're going to freeze physics right here, a little bit before the bus. We can actually get a little bit closer. And there we go. We're almost at 100 miles per hour. We are just on the edge of it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to load. So we load up the cube version of the vehicle, and then we ignite it on fire. And we're going to do this in full speed, so don't blink. Boom! Flaming metal attack cube. That's what it looks like. It actually works pretty well. It's kind of hard to tell because the bus is so big and so durable, but it did some good damage to just the bus. Here, let me show you what it looks like when we get a regular vehicle to crash into. So how about we do a Hirochi Sunburst, and it's going to be a 2. We are so rich, we can upgrade from the base model to a sport model just to crash it. I mean, we literally drove it, what, 5 feet right there, and that's all we're going to do. Now we're going to crash into it using my attack cube. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and use some slow-mo so you can see what it looks like when the flaming attack cubes attack. And this one, we're actually going to be going over 100 miles per hour, it looks like, right? Yep, 103. And then we activate attack mode. Load, and then fire. And unfreeze physics. And there we go, perfect. And the impact, yeah, that was perfect too. That went as good as I could have possibly imagined. So now we'll just go ahead and let the car and the cube come to a stop, and then we'll take a closer look at both of them. So the cube, there's really not too much to look at. It's just literally the car that's been smashed by the crusher, and it doesn't really change after the impact. But the car, it's got some good damage on it. And if you're wondering, is this more damage than just crashing a car into another car? No. It's pretty much exactly the same amount of damage, but it's a lot more dramatic. And to demonstrate that, I'm going to go ahead and crash into the car using a car. And the car should be going about the same speed as before. Now, the difference between these two crashes, in the first one, we don't have any crumple zones on the cube, and in this one, we do have crumple zones on the front of the car. And that's really the only difference in the amount of damage you would receive, but I don't know if we'll notice it in most situations. Like, looking at this car right now, it looks just as damaged as it was before from the cube. So let's up the stakes for the next crash. For this one, we're going to go a lot farther from where we were in the last crash, and then I'm also going to get a much faster vehicle. Hopefully, this will allow the flaming attack cube to attack at speeds of around 200 miles per hour. That's the goal. Let's see if we can achieve it. So what car is for 200 miles per hour? We're going to be using the drag version of the Barstow, which still has some weight to it, actually. It weighs 3,600 pounds, which is almost 2 tons. That's actually quite a bit more than I expected it to be for a stripped-down drag car. And that looks like it's open enough. We should be able to slide the drag car right into there. Oh, it's actually going to be a close fit. Hopefully it fits. Come on, real careful, real gentle. We're good. I had a couple inches of clearance on both sides after all. So now we'll do another crush. And once again, I'll let you guys watch the crush. This one, I like how the roll bar on the back gets crushed really kind of awkwardly. Anyways, we'll go ahead and save this up, make sure we're on the car, then hit save. I almost messed that up. And hopefully, we'll be able to reach 200 miles per hour. The only thing is I got to take it a little bit slow at the start until we clear the toll booth, and now we can actually floor it. I just didn't want to be flooring it through there because when you're going that fast, it's kind of hard to be that precise. So we're going about 180 5 miles per hour. Yeah, we're not going to get any faster than that, unfortunately, but that should be a lot of damage to this car. So cube mode is enabled. We're running this with 16 times slow-mo, although it looks more like 8 times slow-mo because it's going so fast. I think the whole engine just fell out of the sunburst. Yep, it's gone. And that really did some damage. In fact, I'm thinking maybe we'll bring the bus back and do that again, because with those speeds, we can do some damage to the bus. In fact, we might even do more damage than the Cannonball does. That'd be a really cool comparison to see. Do you do more damage than a Cannonball? Looking at this car, I would think probably. And hopefully the bus fits here. I'm not even going to check how close I am to the center. I'm just going to cross my fingers that when I put the bus here, it'll all be okay. And it was okay. Excellent. Now, over to the drag car. We got to go as fast as we can and then slow it down just a little bit. Make sure we get through the tolls and then floor it once more. And yes, I did go a little too fast through the tolls and bumped them just a smidge, but it doesn't matter. We're still going 185 miles per hour just like before. And once you load up the damage, it really doesn't matter how damaged the car was beforehand. So we're going to watch this from the camera of the bus. Get a nice camera angle right there. And we're going to use 100 times slow-mo on this because it's going so fast. That's really the only way to actually see the deformation of the bus. And it is deforming quite a bit. It's actually still deforming a little bit, so I'm keeping the 100 times slow-mo on. And you can see it's bending more and more, and I think it's about done, so we'll go ahead and speed things up now. And looking at the damage here, that looks huge. It's a little bit hard to tell because the cube is in the way, so we'll go ahead and get the cube out of the way. And then look at the bus, and yeah, that's a lot of damage. I'm pretty sure that's more, much more even, than you would get using the Cannonball, and somehow it actually drives a little bit. I don't know exactly how it's driving, but it is some. We can just scrape along the wall and it actually works. We're going 100 miles per hour apparently. 120, 30, 40, 50. This is all thanks to the thrusters, by the way, of course. And we're going 200 miles per hour, scraping along the wall with our front. It's magic. I am full steering to the right. No, oh, this is bad. Yep, there it goes. I knew that was going to happen. I saw the road changed, and I knew we were going to hit something. We just happened to hit that barrier right there and shredded the bus at 200 miles per hour. So now, for comparisons, we're going to go ahead and grab the old cannon, and we'll shoot the old cannon into the bus and see how much damage it does. But I'm almost certain it's going to do quite a bit less damage than we just saw. But I expect it to do a little bit more than we got from the very first impact into the bus at the start of the video. So that looks like a decent alignment. We'll get the camera set up so we can watch the Cannonball make impact without having to worry about the fire in the way. And then we shoot it, and it should come out. There it is. And boom, into the bus. I mean, and the amount of damage there, significantly less damage than we received the last crash. And pretty close, I think, to the very first crash, actually. There's a little bit of the smoke from the cannon making the screen all fogged up. But yeah, that was a very good test, I think. And with this damage, I'm sure the bus could drive perfectly good, considering it was driving with the other damage. So now we no longer need the cannon, so we can go ahead and get rid of that. And then let's try to make a cube that'll be about as strong as the Cannonball we just saw. And since this vehicle is on the smaller side, we don't need to open the crusher that much. That's probably good. And the vehicle we're going to be using is going to be the Autobello Piccolina. And of course, we got to get the fast version, the Street Machine. This thing weighs about 1,700 pounds, I believe. So it's basically half the weight of the car I was just driving. And I don't know if it'll fit, actually. This is a real tight fit. Come on. Oh, it fit fine. This is such a small car. It's so convenient. All right, now we do a crush. And we have to zoom in extra just to see this thing get crushed because it's so small. But it should become a cube just like everything else. Yep, that's a cube to me. So we'll save that, reset it, and we are off to crash into the bus. With this vehicle, with the nitrous, which I just turned on, we should be going about 120, 130 miles per hour, I would guess. It's a decently fast vehicle. And since it's so light, it won't do that much damage even at those high speeds. And for the crash, I don't plan to use that much slow-mo, just a little bit. So we'll freeze physics here. We'll load it up, ignite it on fire, and this is 4 times slow-mo. And that worked out pretty well. You got to see the bus getting damaged by the cube, and the cube kind of bounced off. Once again, still unfazed, it's still a cube. And looking at the damage on the bus, that's pretty close to the damage we saw from the Cannonball. I consider that a success. Now we know a lightweight car going at high speeds is about equivalent to a cannonball. So let's get rid of the bus and try something else. How about we crash this into the cinder block wall? Just because it's fun to see all those little pieces fly into the air. I'm hoping we can actually hit it because it spawned crooked. I wanted it to be where I could just go into the broad side of it, but no, we gotta go on the thin side of it. Gotta have a little bit of precision, which isn't the easiest thing with this car. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to control and squirrely, but I'm managing it okay, I think. Oh, it's getting squirrely, but we're lined up. Lined up pretty well, looks like even. So go ahead and activate all the goodies, and then let's see what it does to the wall. Ah, there we go. The wall is exploding perfectly, and well, the car is kind of spiraling out of control. That's what happens when you only hit the thin part of the wall, I guess. That's probably an expected outcome now that I think about it. And it's just like watching all the debris back there. I'm not even paying attention to the fact the car's spinning all over the place. I'm just looking at the debris flying. So I think we are now done with the Autobello Piccolina. Now let's up the stakes. We're gonna go T-Series T75 long haul fifth wheel upfit. We're getting the biggest vehicle I can fit into the crusher, I think. I don't think a bus will fit in here unless you do some really crazy pre-crushing stuff. But with the T-Series, I'm pretty sure it'll fit in here by just opening it all the way, which I just did. Although it is gonna be close, isn't it? I'm gonna back into here because that seems like an easier way of doing this. Come on, back up. I'm holding to go back up and it's just not doing it. I'm putting it to realistic gearbox mode and shifting myself because I don't know what's going on there. It just didn't want to back up. And it fits perfect though. Just barely. I wonder if it was made for it. Oh, I lost my mirror. I almost made it perfectly in there. It's good enough though. Zoom out a little bit to see this thing get crushed and watch it get crushed. This is going all over the place. Although it's not getting quite as crushed as I wanted. You'll notice there's still like a part that's kind of sticking out in that corner. So what we can do is we can actually double crush it. So we save this, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and open the crusher, which is gonna cause possibly some glitchiness. Sometimes that happens. We'll see what happens here. Oh, looks like it's okay, great. And then we're gonna reset the truck inside of the crusher on its wheels. So there we go. And then we're gonna load up the damage I already had and crush it again. Although it's not quite centered, so we'll move it a little bit more towards the center. That looks much better. And we're gonna crush it again, and hopefully that'll make it more like a cube. Because as I said, the goal is to make a cube, not an oddly shaped truck mangled mess. I want a cube. There we go. Now it actually looks like a cube. And this is the densest cube we've made thus far. To easily reset this, we bring it home. And then once it's home, we can just drive from here. Although I need to find a target, don't I? Let's get the bus again. The bus works as a great target. Like, if you want a good big old target for the cube to hit, can't get better than the bus. So we are now off. And with this one, we're not going to be going nearly as fast. Probably going to be going about half the speed, I would guess, of the Piccolina. Maybe a little bit more than half the speed since we don't have a trailer on it. But it's a big rig. What do you want out of it? Actually, you know what I need to do? I need to make the bus straight. It's kind of crooked, so I want to make sure it's a nice, broad target that's really easy to hit dead on, and that looked pretty good. Although right now, is it actually hitting the wall? I'm going to pull it back just a little bit too. And that should be good as I still try to drive the truck. Oh, this is bad. Can I make it? All right, we're good. We're good. We made it fine. It's okay if it's at a little bit of an angle. In fact, that might be better because it gives you some variety. So here we go. Impact. Oh, that thing hits hard. You can tell it is dense. Even though it's going like half the speed of the Piccolina, it did much more damage. Not as much as the drag car, I don't think, but it's close. You can see the front of that thing is definitely bent, so it does not line up with the rear. Probably you could drive it just like we did before if I really, really wanted to. And you know what? I do want to, so let's see if it works. Yeah, it works fine. It's bent the opposite way, and you can really see the bend. Not quite as much as before, but it is a decent amount of bend in it. But now, it's time to go all out. We're going to find a way to put a bus into the crusher and make a cube to attack other buses with. So first thing, we got to get a bus. And of course here, we got to use the hero to go as fast as we possibly can. Then we'll go ahead and open up the crusher as far as it'll go. But even when it's fully opened, it's not going to be able to hold all of the bus. So what we're going to do is we're going to pre-crush the bus. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to put it into the air like so. That should have it a little bit above the ground so it can kind of sway back and forth. And eventually it'll hopefully level out. This might take a second if I just let it do it on its own, so let's give it some assistance. We're going to go into the environment and we'll just increase the gravity some so it wants to pull down right into the center faster. And now that it's basically sitting vertical, the next step we're going to do is we're going to go sun gravity, which crushes it a little bit. Then we go zero gravity and then sun gravity, and that pre-crushes it. So now it's about able to fit into the crusher, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save this for now, reset the bus, and then load it up on the ground. And I did that just to make sure it was completely separate from everything else. And then we'll place it inside the crusher. Some of it's underground, and we'll work with that, I guess. We'll just see what happens when we crush it and crush it multiple times if necessary. But now at least it fits in the crusher. That's what was important. And we're going to see, can we successfully make a cube of bus, or will the game glitch out? First test says the game is going to glitch out, but anything worth testing is worth testing twice. This time, we'll, well, you know what? Let's test it differently. We'll test it like this. We'll crush the front half of the bus and then the back half or something and see if that works any better. Although I think this will work worse because you have that middle part that's really bending awkwardly. Although apparently that actually worked. Huh. All right. I'm going to pull the bus forward some and then crush the middle part and see if that works then. And if that works, we'll just keep doing that. Okay, all the way open. Perfect. And I got to find a good spot to grab it by. So like, just, what is this? I'm grabbing the crusher. Okay, well, that's not good. Come on, bus. Come on, bus. Oh, it's stuck in the crusher. It's not going anywhere. Okay. That means we got to save the bus. Reload the bus and load the bus up. Interesting. Just loading it actually causes issues. Huh. Yeah, that's consistent. 2 times in a row is a pattern. All right, well, it's not going to work. So here's the best we can do, I guess. We'll stick the bus right in the center of this thing. And I got to actually center it up maybe like right here. There we go. So it's overhanging from both directions, and we're going to crush it and see if that works. If it works, that's the best we got. If it doesn't work, oh well, we tried. We gave it an honest attempt. We got the T-Series, though, which is mighty heavy all on its own, so it's not a huge loss. Come on, don't glitch on me. All right. That's as good as it's going to get. We kind of made like a micro bus, I guess you could say. So we'll go ahead and save that. Reload it. Get it out of the crusher. And I do want to try crushing it one more time. I know it's probably going to... Oh, no, you can't even load the crushed state. It's just too damaged. So I guess at a point, a vehicle becomes too damaged to be able to successfully load it. How disappointing. Well, here's the least we can do. We could go at a high-speed collision between bus and bus. That's the least I can do for you guys. Kind of funny, though. A video all about the flaming attack cube doesn't end with the flaming attack cube. It ends with a bus crashing into a bus. Maybe someday in the future, we can make a cube a bus, and then we can use that cube to attack another bus. But until then, this is the best we got, and I'm trying something a little funny with these camera angles. I'm gonna freeze it when I don't like the camera angle and go to a different one. So like that looks like that's about all there is to see on that side. So we freeze it, and then we go over here to the left side and see what's looking over here because there's a lot of bus to look at. You can see some more deformation on this side for sure. And that's kind of going over the bus, so we kind of got to look from above a little bit. There we go. You can see it pushing through the other bus. I stopped doing the freezes, you can kind of tell. Oh, that was working pretty well, I think. Anyways, though, that's going to do it for this video. I've made a nice little twisted, mangled mess of metal, which is still moving fast. Yeah, that's going to do it. Till next time, this is WhyBeAre. And remember, if you like or dislike this video, I will know. I can tell by looking at how the flaming attack cube is formed. So do the right thing, and I'll see you next time.